Hi, guys. Welcome back to From Portugal with Love. I'm your host, Lauren Covis. Today I'm hanging out with, in my opinion, two of the funniest guys, Derrick and Brian, aka the Portuguese Kids. I've been a fan of theirs for years, and recently they got to come to my house where we did a little cooking, a little chaos, but a lot of fun. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So let's dive right in with the Portuguese Kids.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
How are you?
hello.
How are you guys? My two favorite tios.
Right now, we're dressed as just primos. I guess we're not. I mean, I do have a little gray in there. I guess it could be a TU.
Little, Olha please. Look at this. I'm just drowning in salt over here, like my diet.
You will
It
salt
works.
after
What
you.
screen does it works. It's funny though because you did both pick gray wigs when you do your skit. It's that like real thick salt and pepper hair wig.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sadly,
yeah.
my beard was black when we first started using that wig, and then one day I just looked in the mirror and I was like, "Wow, my hair actually blends quite nicely in with the beard." I was like, "That's pretty sad." When did that happen?
It's like you wake up and everything starts to hurt.
Yeah,
Literally.
Anyway,
yeah. There's a time where I woke up and not woke up. I had this moment, this interaction with my daughter, and then I stopped. I'm like, wow, I sounded like my fucking dad. Like, oh
Are you
my,
isn't it
I'm
the
scared?
turning into
reality of it when it all
Zemenuel.
starts
I'm
to come
turning into
out?
Zemenuel.
Are we allowed to say bad words on this podcast? I just wanted to clear the air now
All right, that's
because
my only one. That's my only one. That's the
I
Brian's
only
mean,
one.
already made a
I'm open
mistake.
to open
Strike one.
communication. You got to be
Okay,
you know.
yeah, but that's the only one. Every other swear I say will be
Brian,
in
for
Portuguese.
those
Will
of
be in
you that
Portuguese.
for those of you that don't know, Brian's the sailor of the group. He's got the bad. I don't even know these words.
Okay, see, look, Lauren does too.
Oh yeah.
We're good here.
First of all, I'm a chef, so I talk like a truck driver. But anyways,
Yep.
Sure, fair
Yep.
enough.
so what I want to do, if you guys don't mind, is let's start from the beginning for my audiences that might not know you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are both Portuguese and from the Azores, and now you reside in Fall River, Mass.
Oh yeah.
And you have this comedy skit slash business called the Portuguese Kids. So, can you guys, if someone doesn't know about you, what's your spiel that explains you?
Well, first, the name Portuguese Kids. We're not children. We get it. You see
We
us, and
know.
you're like, all right. They look young, but no. We, Portuguese kids growing up, although Fall River, Massachusetts has a really big Portuguese population, we had a lot of friends that weren't Portuguese. And we'd always refer to each other like, oh, those are the Italian kids, the Polish kids, oh, those are the Portuguese kids. And that's just like was such an easier name for everyone to know who we were as a comedy group. And, in a sense, we're still children to our parents. Like my mom still talks to me like I'm 12.
Yeah.
So we're always kids in their eyes. So at heart, we're all Portuguese kids. We're all here to have a laugh and have a good time.
Okay.
That's
Well
the
said,
name
Brian.
itself.
That was perfect. That was the best way. That's the best way it's been said yet. So
It's the
thank you.
coffee, dude. It's the third cup of coffee that's really
There
getting you
you go.
going.
When you guys, so you two, because when I first met you, I thought you guys were brothers, and you're not. How did you
No.
two get together and realize we have something here, like with the comedy, this is going to work? Like, what brought you two together? Like your little story.
So we've always we all grew up in the same neighborhood, and at one point the group was four people, and we all four of us were literally same church, the whole nine yards. Like Brian's grandmother lived next door to my house, so
Yep.
it was kind of like a natural friendship, you know. I was older by 1 year, so like Brian and I weren't as close when we were younger as we are now, obviously. But like we all four of us hung out with a bunch of other people, and we would. Brian and I specifically, and Jay, another family member, like were really the three one-uppers, especially in our teen years. Like anytime we'd hang out, I won't say competition in a negative way. It was like we're competing to be who could be the funniest in the room. So it wound up just being like every time we hung out, we all just have tons of laughs, and then from there you said, how do we know we had something? It was much, much later. Like we started doing comedy as kids. We would literally grab our parents' camcorders and just film away, like, and mess around.
Absolutely
And
dating us right now. You're dating us right now.
hey,
Camcorders.
it's the truth,
Okay.
bro. Listen, I
It's
don't get the gray hairs without picking up a camcorder, bro. Sorry, that's just how it goes.
my first video is with a camcorder. My first cooking one is at home my dad with like on the tripod, and I made, actually it was for a school, it was a project, and I made latria, and you see the camera shaking as he's walking over to the stove. And I mean, it's just so funny because it does date us. I mean, even the cabinets in the background it's funny.
I mean, when I first edited, it was tape to tape. Like when
Yep.
we first started out, like that's how old school we are. So like in college, I actually there was this a TV production class that I was in, and from there we found out that Fall River, where we're from, had a public access station. Anybody could do a show, and that's really what happened. That's really the seed that was planted, because when I found out that you could do something like that, I was like, oh man, like we can make our own little SNL. We had no visions of being Portuguese comedians back then. It was just, let's just make a comedy show about whatever. In that comedy show, we decided one day to just do something about growing up Portuguese, and then it was like from there that people were like, "Whoa, that stuff's." They didn't really like the other stuff. They only kind of liked the Portuguese stuff. So we figured that out real quick. We're like, okay, let's just dive all in on this. And then when the show like became, I don't want to say the show became big, it didn't. Became a lot of work for us. It was then that we were like, oh man, I want to pursue something like this. And then we found out through a friend that there's this place in Boston called the Improv Asylum. It's a comedy theater, and they did improv training and sketch comedy writing and all this stuff. So we kind of just like, we literally dove all in. We took classes, and from the beginning, even there, they noticed that we were more than just like, this wasn't a hobby for us. Like we were asking them how they ran their business. Like we were asking them that kind of stuff, because for us, it was always more like, how can we make this? We thought, oh,
How
this
can we
comedy is
make
great.
money here? We're Portuguese.
Yeah,
How can
but
we make
Right.
money?
literally,
Well,
Right.
there's a business to be had with it, of course. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
fun and all, but how do we capitalize on this to make it work? And I will say it's a very niche area for comedy. Like
hmm
I make the example, like in my house, like you met my kids and we were talking, and they're like, "Oh my God, mom, you're like fan crushing." Cause like I was like, no, because I get it. Cause they're funny, because they appeal to things that I understand. And when I had to explain like a joke to them, but then like I showed them a picture of something you guys had done, it was
Yep.
really funny, because that's the comedy behind it. Like that's the, I
It's
have the same parents.
there's a lot
Well,
of the
I
truth.
get it.
There's a lot of the truth in the comedy too. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that we put up there. And that's the wild thing for us. A lot of the comedy we put up is situational, right? Obviously, there's a lot of funniness in how our parents mispronounce words, but the real comedy is just how they assimilated into an area that wasn't Portuguese, right?
Right. The
So
behavior of
the
Or
behavior,
or
right?
didn't
How
assimilate, or
or
didn't
didn't
assimilate,
assimilate,
right?
right?
right.
So like a lot of that, like we would put stuff up like, oh, my mom did this today, and it sounds so crazy, but it was like the fact that it really happened. We're like, let's try it out. We'll make a video, we'll put it up, and then just to see the comments, it's like, oh yeah, my mom did this too, plus this, and it's like, wow, this just turned into a therapy session for me. Like this is awesome.
Do you feel that the younger generation can really understand? I guess so. Like I'm first American generation, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I get it, because you did a skit where, like I said, the guy he was doing the pencil, the dad's doing the pencil, and
Oh,
I
classic.
mean, I was in tears, because my grandfather would take he just randomly always had a pocket knife, and he would sharpen the pencil, he'd lick it, and then he'd blow on it the way you did and put it in his pot to a T.
Oh,
And I was like, I get that. But do you think that this is helping absorb into the younger generation, or like your daughter or your kids,
yeah.
that they understand and see it with like Vava?
Yeah. It's, we've been doing shows now. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary this past October.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's been a long time coming. And it's a lot of hard work, for sure. But even now, we'll say, like, who's seeing us for the first time, and we still get 50% of a new room, and a lot of people still coming back. But like, we're seeing a surge of like kids, or now young adults, 18, 19, 20, who couldn't come to the shows because their parents wouldn't bring them, but now they're coming. And yeah, their parents may not be those stereotypical parents that we're doing, but Vavo and Vavu, their grandparents are still alive, and
Oh, yeah.
they're giving them the same treatment that we got. They're just getting like the Disney version. Obviously, it's the PG version of our parents.
Because my parents were never this nice to me. Like, and I love, but my mother,
Ever.
The way my mother is with my children is, I'm like, who are you? Like, where is this coming
Yep.
from?
Yeah.
It is
What do you
not.
mean you took them to
1000%.
McDonald's?
McDonald's. We have food at home.
I also think a lot of part of it is like some of these younger kids, they're using us as a conduit to kind of look into their past. Like everybody, I think nowadays looking for a tribe, and when they see what we're doing, they're like, "Oh man, like my ancestors or my my forefathers, that's how they were," and like this is the true immigrant experience. And a lot of people identify with that. Even look at modern day Italians now, right? Like they still love every bit of being Italian, even though like people from Italy might be like, you guys aren't Italian, like, and just like people from Portugal might be like, you guys aren't Portuguese, but we have this connection that they'll never get because like it's saudade, right? It's like this thing that we've left behind, and I think that even even with further generations, like second, third, fourth generation, it's still there. It's still like this longing, and we've got a lot of young kids coming who don't even speak Portuguese, and then everything any Portuguese that they know, it's all from what we do, and
Right.
and so in that it's kind of wild for us. We're like, damn, dude, this is nuts. But it's also like, man, this is job security. These kids are now coming to our shows. They're 18. Like, yeah, it makes me feel old. Like, like some people. This is wild. Some people show like, oh, I came to your show when I was 5, and like there's a picture of like their parents bringing us like a show that we did at a festa, and I'm like, wow. And like they're now at 19, 20, 21 coming to our show having a beer, and it's like, damn, this is great. And
every time they do that, every time that happens, my receding hairline goes back another half inch.
Happens all the time.
So when we talk about comedy, right? I guess there's so many different kinds. There's improv, there's sketch, there's I don't know if it's the same as like stand up and whatnot, but you guys do the sketch with I call it like young. Yes.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Like, is that just like that was what my dad looked like? It sounded like, or like every kind of Portuguese man I always saw with the jogging pants and the plaid shirt tucked in.
It's just the classic.
That's really where it comes from. It's
yeah.
It's like it's we here when we first started, we would randomly do just random Portuguese characters. Like that was just whatever we threw on a shirt, threw on a hat, and then whatever. But then during the pandemic, we thought, let's come up with some characters that people can kind of kill time with during the pandemic, and that's really what like
reoccurring characters.
Right. So we came up with a handful, and we started doing like these storylines, and people really got attached to them. Like now, we'll come out as Lino and Manny on stage, and people like applaud before we even say anything, Or if I come out with Vanessa, who also does comedy with us. She's an actress that we've worked with for years. She's my Lydia, like she plays my wife on screen, and like people absolutely go crazy for us when we do stuff together because it's become like this married couple that they know, and like we just it's a fun thing because now we know what kind of characters they are. We've developed them. We know their personalities a little bit,
right?
And it's for me, Lino is a lot of my father. Like I'm like even like the non-verbal stuff, just the facial expressions or
the mannerisms.
Yeah. Even like the like my dad would be like he would like verbally he would like disgusted with something, but he wouldn't say it. He'd be like
the biggest compliment for us is when we have like close friends or family come to the shows and they see the Portuguese men that we portray. They're always like, oh, that was Tija's Emmanuel. That's my dad. He was like, oh, that was your dad. I miss him, blah, blah, blah. But it's like the mannerisms. Sometimes we don't even know we're doing them. And then our family members like, oh my God, you were doing that just like dad. Was that on purpose? I'm like, no, I just, it's just,
right.
Just like they're there with us. They're not here physically, but they've always been big supporters of the shows. And my dad was always a bigger than life character. He's like the mayor of town. So to me, I think that's just, he's just here with me while I'm on stage, just like guiding me along with some of these and laughing at my Portuguese because it's not that great. But
I mean, I say my Portuguese is Spanish, English, Portuguese, my hands, it's all together.
I'm landing planes.
Yeah, it's how you deliver it. No, but I love it. Even when Lydia's in character and she does these facial expressions, and I'm like, even the blowing of the wind, like the air, she's like,
Yeah.
when she does that, I'm like, oh my God, she's so on point.
Oh
But
man.
what's the process when you guys get together? You're like, oh, I got this idea for a skit. What do you think of this? Like, is
It's
it a play back and forth?
it's a text message. Sometimes it's just a text message. Like we'll be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you'll never believe what my mom did today." It's like, "All right,
Yep.
like let's
And
go."
I
We
think it
start
also
bouncing
depends on what we're
ideas.
doing. If it's like for the Portuguese Problems TV show, that's a little bit different. Like Brian and I will sit down because it's a whole script and we have to like look at
Right.
sets and stuff like where we're gonna film it. But a reel, if it, like that's literally any given
Off the
day. Like
cuff.
it's like, hey,
Yeah.
such and such happens, or we'll come up with a premise like, oh my god, like pop, 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 like no, let's just basically hit record and see what happens, and we'll
That's
do
it.
3-4 takes sometimes.
And the crazy thing is, a lot of it is what happens like in real time. So like, like for instance, I did one about Portuguese moms and being very superstitious.
Yeah.
And it was because my mom called me one day randomly. She's like, "Hey, hi Brian, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like that's a weird way to start a conversation. She said, "Well, the other day I was washing the dishes and the doorbell rang. I checked the back door, I checked the front door, I see nobody. I said, "Oh, that's a sign Brian's in trouble." I'm like, "Mom, what? Of all you have other children.
To
Why
be
was it me
to be
first?"
fair, she's always worried about the oldest.
She's
You know
always
how it
worried.
goes.
God bless her.
Oh,
Hey,
but
I'm thankful
at
for it.
least you're a son. You are the holy. The son is the
Yeah, I
holiest.
Yeah.
am. I'm the oldest. I was the guinea pig. And, I got to see a lot of what my sister went through, even up into her like young adulthood, 2021, having my parents giving her hell about coming home like after like 10. I'm like, what do you, mom, dad? Like, she's 21, 22, but it's like there was no talking them out of it. Like, I couldn't do anything to fix that. But like, it's those things you look back on now and you're like, wow, like every Portuguese girl has gone through this strict Portuguese parents. And having Vanessa's great because she brings that female side, where people can connect. Like people want to laugh when
Right.
we're wearing wigs, but having a female perspective is a huge help. But we see it.
And
Portuguese
the
girls
mother
might
role
have
is
it just a little tougher than the boys, for sure.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
just a little. I always joke because the mother role, like my dad was kind of more a little softy with me. So my
Mm,
first date, I dated a guy Helder Elevator from Newark, and he was the stock boy at Ciabra's where I used to work at the register. And he
yep.
came to pick me up in his little green Volkswagen Jetta. And
Oh
Nice.
man.
we all have the Jettas.
Styling.
My dad answered the door in his police uniform, and
Oh
he
my god.
cracked some kind of joke in Portuguese, like if you break the eggs at the grocery store and how gentle
Yep.
you have to be. This is my ov, and I was like,
Oh my
oh my
God.
god. And then he made my sister go on the date with me.
Yeah, that's common. We see that a
That's
lot.
yeah.
I
We've
was
had a
like,
lot
this
of
We've
is
actually had a
weird.
sketch that had that. We're like great first date, and like the kids on the side of him like playing with his phone, like like it's we've
a
actually
lot
done
of
that.
the I guess to jump off of that, a lot of other inspirations we get are from our fans. Like people will message us stories and like you're never gonna
Yeah,
believe what happened. I know this sounds crazy. And the reply is like, that sounds normal to us. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing if you don't mind. And we'll use their names in the sketch as a thank
that's
you, but also to
awesome.
give them a shout out. But we have people all the time and we always, check our comments and read along. And it's so funny how so much of it is the same because we've performed, our live shows, we performed all over North America, as well as we've been to Portugal, London, UK, Australia. We've done three
Wow.
times. But like all the stories are all the same. It's that assimilation story, that growing up as an immigrant, a child of an immigrant, with one foot in the Portuguese and the other foot in whether it's America, Canada, Australia, UK. Like you're balancing two lives at once, like two lifestyles in a
yeah.
sense.
Which is I think universal in general, and that's why I mean for us growing up, like for yeah, watching immigrant or cultural or ethnic comedy, I always resonated with me, even if it wasn't Portuguese, because it's such a universal thing. Like we would love watching George Lopez stand up and like when he would talk
Mhm.
about his teas and stuff like that. Like, dude, that's so relatable. And like, of course, we were like, man, I wish there was some Portuguese stuff like that. And it's kind of what inspired us to do our parodies in the beginning. Like we saw a video called "Shit Italian People Say." And I was like, man, why don't we do a Portuguese version of that, and like
Right.
literally, like no one else had done something like that. We're like, let's just make a Portuguese version, and like that really kind of like helped catapult us a little bit in the beginning, the early YouTube days. And from there, we started doing like the musical parodies and stuff because we were just like, let's just do Portuguese versions of like pop culture stuff, see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, and it
Hmm.
wound up just taking off because I think in our community we had a lot of representation, except for the entertainment world. Nowadays it's different, but like 20 years ago, like there really wasn't. I think we were just talking about this with Nuno Betancourt from Extreme. Seeing his Portuguese flag in that video for More Than Words was probably one of the very first times I'd ever seen the Portuguese flag not in a festa. On
Right. On
MTV. I was like,
MTV.
oh,
On
what the?
TV,
I
yeah.
was like, whoa. And it blew our minds, and like so it was, it's like stuff like that, but like ethnic comedy for us has always been so universal. I think that's why when we do shows like in California and we got Mexican people at our shows, and like, my abuela is the same thing. We have La
Mhm.
Chancla, you guys have Shinalish. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's all relative,
Right.
which is great.
Now, you said something I wanted to jump back on. The Portuguese problems. When you guys did the series,
Yes.
can you just give me a little bit of background on that one? Because that's very
Yeah.
different than
It
what you
was.
do on your social media.
It is. Yeah. So, RTP had reached out about putting together a TV show, kind of based on the material that we were putting up on our social media. They reached out. It was March of 2020. And it was probably the best news we ever got. Like, hey, we want you guys to have a TV show. Let's do this. And then, like a week later, everything shut down for the pandemic.
Yeah.
Of
It
course,
was
just
the
the way it works.
timing. It was the
So
timing.
I mean, you just got to trust the timing. It was our first show,
Right.
but it took us like three plus years to produce everything, which was like crazy to think about.
Right.
But it's because we had this pandemic in the middle of everything, so it was a lot of just filming in between here and there, and what we could do. But the production itself, we teamed up with this cinematographer from California, an old friend of ours. He's won a couple of Emmy awards for his work, and he's just a brilliant cinematographer. He came in as the director, co-creator, and from there everything elevated because what he's used to and like what we were used to was like just completely different. Like we were like
Right.
amateur hour, but he came in and brought like this huge level of professionalism, makeup, lights, gaffers, all the stuff that we had never like even fathomed. Like
The
so
next
it
level.
Right.
really.
Next
Oh yeah,
level. Yeah. We're
absolutely.
we're
Yeah,
filming on iPhones, and this
Right.
guy's, filming
yeah.
on
This
a
guy
thirty
comes in
thousand
with
dollar camera.
yeah, because
We
some of these cameras have to be like Netflix certified, right? Or
right.
certified for the NFL because that's what he does. He films a lot for the NFL. So by accident, like just because we're using his equipment, we wind up filming on like just stuff that we would never be able to get our hands on. So like we're like, Dean, thanks, bro. Thanks for the hookup,
Yeah, that
dude.
was awesome. But the filming process was wild because, we're when you're filming with iPhones, sometimes you're just filming on the go, or like, hey, we got a quick setup. We just put we'll move a couch around in our office just to make it look like a home, or we're filming at the house, right? But with that, it's a whole different process. So the writing had to accommodate in a sense because you're just not like, hey, I got this idea. Here's a couple of lines we want to deliver, and everything else is improvised. This was like, hey, we need to make sure we know our outline because we've got to make sure that the production is out on time. Like everyone's getting paid hourly. Like there's a lot that's going on there. And then, sketches have to be presented a different way on TV. You can't be doing, challenge videos or like these, stuff that's going on in the internet because it only works for the internet. It doesn't work for TV. So there was a lot of learning with that. And
So
then
the
just
writing
like
process is different for that then.
the writing process is completely different. Like we wrote a sketch and we had filmed it. And then after we had edited everything, we are like, okay, this isn't this, the flow's got to be different. It's a whole
Yeah,
different
it was
situation there.
a lot of like. There's definitely because comedy is really in the editing. Like the writing absolutely is the groundwork, but if you don't
Uh-huh.
have a good edit, like man, so it's a balancing act. And then of course sometimes what you write, you're like, oh, this is going to be great. And then all of a sudden you start filming it, you're like, wow, I envision this way differently, but because of the actual filming process and the crew, like we can't do this or we can't do that. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, we got to change this. Or you get there, you're like, whoa, this is a way better idea. Let's do this instead. And then all of a sudden you
Right.
abandon your whole premise. So it was a lot of that, but
And,
it
and
was
and then
fun
needing
and exciting.
and we needed sets. Like we needed to film on location a lot because, again, when we were filming at the office, the set could look normal because we're using characters people know. But we're like, all right, we need a store. We're not going to green screen it like we would do in the office. We would have to find a store and go film there, or we'd be filming at our parents' house. And we filmed at my mom's house for one of the sketches. And I'd shown up and she was like, hey, I just put the baby down. I was like, okay, you put the baby down at Tia's house? She's like, no, he's upstairs. I'm like, no, Mom, we have like 15 people coming to the house. Like, you got to get them out of here. Like it's going to be loud. It's going to be a lot of people.
Babysitting services are shut down.
Babysitting services. But she's so used to the way we film.
Right.
It's like a couple of us, a couple of lights, and that's it. Like a whole crew. Yeah. She was like, "Oh, geez, she had no idea." So
yeah, it was definitely a cool, definitely an awesome
learning experience.
Yeah.
Well, the learning curve of it, yeah.
Yeah, and which is great because now we feel like we're prepped for that stuff. Because again, not only in front of the camera but behind the camera. We're working on season 2. We're working on it. Like nothing official to announce, but we're definitely putting the wheels in motion.
What was your favorite one of Portuguese Problems? Because I enjoyed it.
My favorite episode, just because it was just out there for me, was the Portuguese soap opera that we did, where I played the sister and the twin that was sleeping with the husband who was in a coma.
That's some telenovela,
The telenovela, right? And I was like, I remember writing it down. I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is gonna work. Let me read it to Derrick. Derrick read it and he was like, it's funny. Like we want to make sketches where people can relate, but there's also some fun to be had with things that we watch.
Yeah, and I think
bring that,
Yeah, and Brian, that's a good point. Like that's one thing that we wanted to also like be very like focused on. Was like we wanted to give people what they expect from us, but at the same time, we wanted to kind of like we're creative a little bit and kind of like we did. What would happen if a Portuguese duo off the boat, Portuguese dudes, started a country band? Boom, and then we wrote a country song, right? Like literally, Brian and I sat down one night and just wrote this country song.
Yeah.
Brian's wife has a cousin who's married to a musician in Texas. We hit him up. I'm like, hey, can you do slide guitar for our song? Boom. Now, and all of a sudden, we got a video.
Joey Medeiros, who's a really good friend of ours.
Yes,
very popular
another artist.
singer. Helped, and he threw his hands in there too, which was great. And then Dean, our cameraman, had a friend who owns a ranch out in California. So
isn't it amazing how it all comes together?
Yeah,
it really.
It's also very stressful because. But it's all very stressful in the planning of it because it's like, hey, we need to film this sketch that needs this, this, and this. Like, where do we get it? And that's where it's like the scrambling, and we're trying to see if we have someone that knows somebody. And some sketches just didn't make it because we just didn't have the resources to make it happen. But everything else,
maybe
what you saw, season 2, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Season 2, bigger and
but
better.
Even, it's just nuts. Even like makeup. We're thinking like, just something basic, but there's makeup, and then there's makeup for 4K filming. There's a whole different,
if I got
makeup for HD, and man,
if I'm getting beat up. We got the bruises. It was definitely way more than we've ever. But again, I do it all over again, but much more streamlined. Without a pandemic, would be much more desirable, which is what we're hoping for season 2.
Yeah,
no more pandemic. When you look at both avenues, from doing on the cuff like reels, like Instagram, versus like set planning and all that, where do you feel more natural?
I'll be honest with you, I feel more natural on stage. I feel like my most natural. I feel like where I'm happiest is definitely on stage. Like I love the video stuff. Obviously, people love it. We got great feedback, but there's just nothing like the feedback you get from being on stage, especially if it's like an improvised scene, or even something you wrote. Like you wrote that. You're like, this line's gonna hit, and then boom, it hits. You're like, I knew it would. So it's always feels good, and then
it's a hell of a dopamine
to get that. Yeah, it really is.
It's a high, and then it's done. And like, we're tired, obviously, because we're running around stage, but then like you're coming down off of that because it's like you get that big laugh And we've been doing this so long, so it's like there's a progression of like making sure things are going, getting that big laugh, not trying to top that big laugh, continuing the story and finding what the next natural laugh is going to be. And once you get that going and the crowd is with you at the end of the night, you're spent. It's just like a weird, like, poof, you're coming down off a high. That's really what it is.
How do you pick up if you flop on something? Like, because I know that sometimes I make a mistake, but what do you do so fast to like recover? Or do you look at each other if you're doing something together and be like, well,
we'll help each other out. That whole idea with improv, the biggest thing is making sure that you're helping the scene, not yourself. What you can do is help the scene. Because if I'm helping my scene partner look good, we're all looking good. If he's doing that for me and I'm doing that for him, we're taking care of each other. So like if a joke's not hitting, I know a joke's not hitting. I'm like, okay, let me just slow this down and let Derrick come in. Maybe he has a better idea that he can pop on, and then we'll work with that. So we do have some stuff that like flops, like sketches. If a sketch could start a certain way in January, and by December, it's completely changed because a certain joke didn't work out, jokes were better, and then like we improvised something in the sketch, and now it's like it's blossomed into something better. It's still good.
Which is funny because when we went to go write some stuff for Portuguese Problems, we write these sketches, and we thought, look, there's a lot of sketches that we no longer use on stage that would be amazing as sketches for the show. And then we went to go look at the sketches, and we're like, what the hell? Like they all of them, every single sketch that we had in our archives was just completely different than what we ended with. Like, we're like, whoa, that joke's not in that. Wow, that joke's not in that. Like, oh my God, like I can't believe that we wrote this, and we thought this is great, but like look how much better it became. And that's another blessing of being on stage and doing so many shows, is that you can develop these things. Just like a stand-up comedian does his shows, for months before he films his special. That's what we're really doing in essence. Like we're practicing these sketches on the road, and sometimes we'll see something like, okay, that's 2 shows in a row that didn't get a good laugh. What can we do?
Let's fix it up.
Let's tweak that. Everything else is getting hits. Like that's that one thing. And then as far as like making mistakes, 99% of the time, they don't know you made a mistake, like, especially if it's a sketch, like we forget our words. That's happened like over the years. Like, oh my God, like you have so much material. You write a sketch, sometimes you forget a line, or we'll pull out an old sketch and like halfway through, I'm like, oh my God, we probably should have rehearsed this before we did it because I forgot a line. But we're there for each other. Like Brian will remember the line and he'll like either suggest it, or if Brian forgot something, I'll circle back. I'm like, hey, what about this? Oh yeah, and then boom, like, the audience doesn't know.
It's all about helping each other on stage. It can't just be you, and it's a team on stage. So it's like we gotta like. It's all about making sure that everything looks good, the product looks good, because we're giving everyone a product, really,
Stand up, you're on your own.
Stand up, you're by yourself, and you got to like work that on. But like the two of us, we're lucky that like we're on stage together, and we're both making sure we both look good on stage, and that's how everything comes together. We're there for the product, not for ourselves. Can't be selfish.
And you feed off the energy of that crowd, just like if you're doing stand-ups and you're doing crowd work, or a skit, and you get someone chuckling but not the other person, you can kind of feed off energy and play 100%,
that in 100%. And honestly, energy plays a lot into it. And like we've over the years, we've had to deal with that a lot, because a lot of the shows that we've done over the years have been at like places like Portuguese halls, and all due respect to these Portuguese halls, a lot of these places, they don't run well, so like they'll do dinner, and next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock before you're on stage. They're full. They're tired. They've been there since 6 p.m.
They're drunk. They've been drinking. Yeah.
So the vibe's different at times, and you have to fight that. And sometimes it's not always easy, but you got to do it. Like you have to and sometimes like you'll lose them. It's because the alcohol. And especially in the beginning years, man, we didn't know any better. So we just kind of let people that were booking us kind of run it all. But like once we started to see like that affects our product, like how people don't blame the club for any.
They blame you, no.
They blame the acts.
They blame us. As a matter of fact, someone actually commented the other day, I swear to God, they're like, these guys suck. They never start their shows on time. And we laughed so hard at that, because I was like, dude, first of all, I don't know how many shows you've been to. I was like, that's not even our fault. 99%
it's the Portuguese time. Portuguese time.
It's Portuguese time. Exactly.
Every time. Anytime we start late, it's their fault.
Right. And you guys, well, it's funny because you said the Portuguese halls, and I was explaining this to my kids. The last thing that I love that you guys had done or you do is the Portuguese wedding, which is like
Yes.
that play off of the Tina. What was it? Italian thing? It was like Tina and something.
There's a couple of
Tina.
them, 20 Tina's, and that was
No,
the like
yeah.
off Broadway, and then there was
Yep.
Joey Maria's, which is what we had in Massachusetts, and that was like done by Dillstar Productions, and that went everywhere, and then that's where we kind of heard of it.
So
Right.
the Portuguese wedding, I was explaining it to my older son, and now my kids have never been to a wedding, and I didn't really put that into perspective because I had been to so many weddings as a kid because
Right.
you always went to the family wedding,
Well, you
and
had a big family.
right, and
There was
there
weddings
was
all
no
the time.
babysitter because grandma was there and your aunts were there and your parents. So when I watched
Nowadays, most kids aren't invited to weddings.
no, yeah, 16 or 18 and under are not
Yep.
included. But we would love like the bread basket with the lemon up and the Coca-Cola on the table. And all the kids would just be, you wouldn't even dance until like after dinner. But everything that was played into it, I was like, no, you don't understand. Like a Portuguese wedding is an experience in itself.
Yes.
Like
Yes,
it
It
yes,
is.
for
is.
sure.
You know, and
In Canada, it's even extra. Like they'll do a midnight buffet. That's like this big custom that they do, and and it's usually seafood, like shrimp, cocktail, like and we learn
they were
as we go along that
our fans
Portuguese
were very
people.
disappointed when they realized my big fat Portuguese wedding did not have a midnight buffet. We're like, hey
Yeah,
guys,
no midnight buffet. No,
there's only so much in the
the
budget. There's only so much in the budget.
the groom's too cheap. The groom's parents, I'm sorry, the bride's parents are too cheap for
Too
that.
cheap, yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
we do recreate. We do our best to recreate it. Not always with the experience, because sometimes it's hard to replicate that, especially
Right.
in like a new restaurant or something like that. But at a Portuguese hall, it's pretty accurate, like
wow.
and the characters that we've created are pretty like they're exaggerated, but they're really fun characters, and people love the show. We just did we literally just relaunched it in April, and we've got it a bunch of dates booked for the end of the year. But the relaunch show we did, we had about 850 people, and well, let me tell you, it was just an absolute riot. The
The dance
people
floor was full.
jams,
And like,
such
who
a good
doesn't
time.
like, look, going to a wedding, obviously, there's like a huff and puff about getting dressed and going, but like, this is a different kind of vibe, right? You're coming to a wedding, but yeah, there's no real, like, you don't have to worry about how you're really dressed, right? But you're just there to have a fun,
Fun
you'll be
time.
silly. You don't have to worry about who's there. And I think people were just missing that in a sense, whereas it's like, let's just go to something that's like, doesn't not, we can just have a laugh and then dance because we script the Portuguese wedding in the beginning of the show. Then the rest plays out like a Portuguese wedding. Like we have dances, we do games with the audience, but like when it was just time to dance, we just had Portuguese and like dance music and whatever. That dance floor was just full. It was so full. 850 people. They were dancing around the tables.
That's
Because people are
awesome.
like, man, we just missed this. We missed this. We missed dancing to like, George Ferreira with our cousins and our primas. And we're in character throughout the whole show. So Vovo is in there dancing. One of the uncles are dancing on the dance floor, making jokes. And it's just, it's a great time. And that's something for us. It's like something that we miss, those old school style Portuguese
It's very
weddings.
nostalgic.
Very
Like,
nostalgic.
for me
right.
as the audience, like hearing about it, it's funny because on Saturday or Sunday we'd have to go to an event and you'd sit at the table, they do their speeches if it was a wedding or whatever the community event was, or even at the church hall, like in
Yep.
Elizabeth in Jersey, Our Lady of Fatima Church, they do like the lay down dinner. But then the music starts, and then it's Badupe, and then it's everyone dancing, and then the dessert buffet comes out, and then there's still this. So like you get all of that, and I love that because I was like, that was so much fun. We don't do that anymore,
The kids running around for hours. Kids are just running for hours through everything. And then at the end of the night,
They were sleeping.
Your grandmother's sleeping somewhere on a chair in the corner.
Yeah.
The guys are all at the bar screaming about whatever the game was. The tiers are all sitting together. It's like
very true.
Something beautiful about
the kids
that.
are under the jackets. You put the jackets over the kids, and they're sleeping through the heaviest bass you've ever heard. It's like as if nothing ever.
These people aren't going to pay for a babysitter. Come on.
No, we're very scrappy.
We're very scrappy.
Very scrappy. No, but I, you know what? You guys have made me feel that I'm not a weirdo sometimes, like that I have this community. And I think that's something that you definitely present in all your platforms that you put out there. I genuinely mean that.
Yeah, and it's a shared thing. It's a shared
You
thing.
know,
I thank you. Yeah, and honestly, like we're all weirdos in this world of living as Portuguese Americans or Canadians. It's like it's a balancing act, and we got kids of immigrants have more pressure. We have more responsibilities than our friends. You
mhm.
know, it's something that only us people that are children of immigrants truly recognize, and even our grandkids, the grandkids, our kids, they know the sacrifice because
Right.
it's tough. It's like
They're
it's a
living through
family
it
thing.
too. My daughter was
The
complaining
work
about how
ethic is there.
she smelled like the onions that my mom was making. She's like, oh, I smell like. I was like, welcome to my life, kid. You're
Yeah.
not,
Yeah,
like this is, enjoy it. You're gonna miss this one day. Just absolutely enjoy everything. And that's another thing that we always try to tell people because like, oh, there's always going to be someone that feels like we're making fun. And in a sense, there's poking fun and having a laugh at yourself, but like you have to be able to laugh at yourself,
Oh yeah.
and that's something that we're always like. We always want to make sure that people know it's like, these are situational comedies, sketches, and we're not making fun and being like, haha, we're so stupid. It's no, this is just like what we went through, how we survived with it, and we're just celebrating it. And then like, read the room, read the comments, look how many other people that
Get it.
say, man, I miss my mom or I miss my avó, and this is just the one connection I needed today. This is the one laugh I needed today.
yep,
Because
yeah.
like
We get that more than not, man. And it's been the blessing that we never thought we would have. Like we didn't start this
right.
off to make people like, but like what it happened early too. Like we were doing a show in Florida. Some guy came up to me with tears. He was like, "You were my dad just now. We used to go to Toronto every other year, and they would come down to us every other year. So like it was like and like we did a sketch where the American family went to Disney World and the Portuguese family went to Toronto. They're going to visit the Primes, and
Oh
like
God,
Yeah.
yeah.
they the American kids got all the fun stuff. Like, can we get this? Can we get that? And like the kid,
Yeah.
the Toronto fan was like, "You're getting shit." You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
we're going to see my brother, and you're gonna shut the hell up and not touch anything.
Yeah. If Tia
That was
asks
our
you if you're
vacation.
hungry, what do you say? A gente comeu em casa. We ate at home,
Yeah, we ate at home.
That would
Water.
never work anyways. She'd still have
No,
to.
no. You would still
Yeah,
get fed.
yeah,
You would still get fed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Portuguese people don't want you to talk bad, like, oh, they didn't even feed us. No, no, no. You're gonna eat. Wow, cool.
yeah. You're gonna eat, but you have to say no. It's just it's a thing. It's a whole song and dance. You see, you're like
No,
you
no,
can
no.
eat,
Yeah.
Okay,
but
wait.
you
We make
must
fun.
refuse first. You must refuse
Right, right.
first.
It's like who's gonna pay the bill at the table?
That's the opposite. Man, I'll tell you, Portuguese people will fight to the death to pay for that bill, man. Like we see that a lot. In my family, oh my God, my
Oh
mom will
man.
literally like kill the waiter if she doesn't get that bill.
You know,
I won't fight. I'm like, oh, who wants to pay?
you
Oh,
can take care of
okay.
it.
Thank you.
So I do this little thing called a quick fire round, and
Mhm.
it's like 4 questions, either
All
or, this
right.
and that. So I want your opinions on it. Your mother's favorite weapon, a Chanela or the wooden spoon?
Wooden
Hand
spoon.
first. Hand first, and then probably the Chanela because the wooden spoon she was cooking with it, so she didn't want to waste that on
No,
us.
no, I got them. She washed hers right after my ass whooping. She washed it.
Didn't they have amazing like reaction time though with whatever
Oh
was
Quick.
yeah,
around?
It was just
So
quick,
quick.
whatever was there.
very
If you
quick.
saw the tongue roll, you knew you were in trouble.
You were
You're like,
dead.
oh, here we go.
Were the sofas covered in plastic or were there beach towels on your car seats?
Yes, on both.
Ooh. So yeah, we
Both.
only on the couch in the parlor, the second living room
Oh
where
yeah, the
nobody
room
was
that no
allowed
one could
into.
go in. The room that
Couldn't.
no
That
one
was covered. That was
could
covered.
go in.
The museum,
Yeah.
the museum room, as we
The
called it.
museum, yeah. Only
My
for
grandmother
visitas on the
had
holidays.
the plastic covers, my grandmother, and then the curtains that look like doilies with all the,
Oh yeah,
the lace crochet on the bottom. And
I
then
still have. My mom still has those. You talking about?
so
Oh,
the
that's
best,
great.
the one that the skit you guys did where tell me you're at Vavo's house with telling me you're at Vavo's house.
Yes.
It's the Our Lady of Fatima. We have that with the little Jacinto and Louis, like all on the bottom. The
Yep.
kids, you
All
have
there.
the communion picture with the silhouette, like
The silhouettes.
The
Oh, we see it
Hormone.
all the time. Like we have ours where it's like me praying, and then my mom had me Photoshop to watch myself pray. I'm like, Mom,
Mhm.
one would have been
And like,
fine.
not to mention the religious statues. Like, my mom would have like horrific, like Jesus crying tears of blood. I'm like
hanging
7.
on
I'm
the
like, this is
walls.
Yeah.
mortifying me right
In the
now.
bedroom. Like, how are you guys getting it on with all this Jesus in the room?
God bless you. Okay, bifana or prego?
Prego.
prego.
Yeah,
With
Definitely
prego
twice on
mustard.
that.
with a pimenta, like a nice
Mhm.
big thick pimenta on there. Oh, good to go.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all
Although
about
I was
the
gonna
bread.
say I love
Chopstick.
a good bifana, but sorry, go ahead.
I have to have bifana. Okay, so I'm a bifana with onions. I like onions
Yeah,
on my
me too.
bifana, but some people don't.
Oh, see, I like it on
Yeah.
both. Anytime. Prego too, I do the onions.
Yeah,
And
we
you know,
Okay.
there's something about the Portuguese mustard. It's like a different level of vinegar
oh
in it.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a mustard guy personally on the bifana or the prego, but I've had them in both. I actually like it in the bifana more than prego.
Oh,
For me, prego, I
best
just
like a chorizo sandwich, you know, like a
Oh,
chorizo
with
with
yeah.
mustard.
mustard. Game over.
Now we're
Game
talking.
Yeah.
over. Give me that acid reflux.
Yeah. Kill me slowly inside.
Yes, please.
Do we
Work
put
your way.
cinnamon on our pastel nata?
Always.
Yes.
Always.
You know what I really liked, and I had it when we went to Portugal? The port wine on them. They were warm. And this little old man
Okay.
goes, oh, he put a little bit of port on it. And then he took the cinnamon. And I was like, I've had the cinnamon and I love the cinnamon. I love them warm. But I loved it with the port wine.
Was it a lot
Yeah,
or just like like a
No, like a
splash
little
of it?
splash.
I
Really?
Yeah,
Ah,
prefer
it's really good.
yeah. To me the perfect way, and I shout out to Joey Bats, is powdered sugar
wow.
and the cinnamon.
Oh, I
That's
never
how
had it
I
with the
do it.
powdered sugar.
Powdered
No
sugar. That's the way
way.
to
Oh
go.
yeah. Yeah. You
Especially when
put
you
those
go
two
and take a
together,
bite
just a
and you
little
breathe
dash.
in by accident.
Amazing.
Well, that's the one thing we all can do as the Portuguese community is talk about food. Is
Oh.
Of course, we all have an opinion on it. That's for sure. As we know, our friends
Well, I'm
in the
sure
food
you know more
community.
than us, Lauren, because like you
Yeah,
putting yourself
everyone,
out
I'm sure, has
there
something to
and
say.
you're cooking, everyone's gonna have an opinion and they're all gonna tell you
I
this
do
is
it
how.
this way.
And and sometimes like that's just Portuguese people. They just gotta let you know, but sometimes it comes off a little too much, right? And it's like,
right.
and we always tell people that are like in social media or starting in social media, if they always have, like the first thing we always tell people, it's like, you got to develop a thick skin because
Yeah,
everyone's going to have an opinion and they're all going to let you know whether
oh,
it's
yeah.
a nice way or a really harsh way. So it's like, but I'm sure with food, you must get a lot of comments about recipes and how to make it. And
I get a lot of questions, and it's what's funny. The biggest thing I see is the different areas that people are from in Portugal, how that affects the cuisine so much. And I
right.
was talking to my mom like about you guys, and when certain words like the Azorians, the accent is very different from where
Mhm.
my parents and like my grandmother lives and my mom came from. Like very different accent from the mainland, and that also reflects in food between the way they cook certain things first. Like a prato de cozido can be done so many different
So
ways.
many ways.
And, at the end of the day, it's a plate of boiled meats and sausages with carrots and potatoes and cabbage. But you take it from the north to the south to the island, is going to be very different. And so
Yeah,
that's
Every
some
time.
add carrots, sweet potato, some will do
right.
masala, chorizo. Like they're so right on that. And even you're saying mainland and Azores. Guess what? Even within Azores, one island will do it this way, and
Right.
another island will do it that way. So it really is like it's super regional. Like we've
I
had
think
dishes
that's
that
the
have
beauty.
cinnamon in it, and I'm
That's
like,
the
this is different. Like cinnamon in meat. Like okay,
Oh, that's right. I think that's the
Yeah.
beauty
right?
of our culture. Is like you can have a plate and it's made so many different ways that you can enjoy it so many different ways based on what fragzia or village you're going to in Portugal or in the islands, like cinnamon in meats, for example.
Right.
It's like we're so creative that like you can have this creative plate made so many different ways, and they're all great. Never like your
And
mom's though, but
never like your mom's. And my thing is, a lot of the cuisine, even in the cities now, the more modern stuff with the big chefs in Portugal, I always say it's always been underrated, and now it's really coming to this high level with travel and food and
yep,
exposure. And I think our age group really bringing light to the culture. But everything that you see like on the plates really do come from the countryside, really do come from the
yeah,
original roots of this small little country that's fisherman oriented, that's really about showcasing really good food. And you
uh-huh.
you you see that in all the different levels of cuisine in
I think
areas.
I think that's the beauty
Yeah,
too when you go out there. It's, you can go to the big cities, there's restaurants and those restaurants are accommodating a lot of foot traffic, but when you go to those small villages off the beaten
Yeah.
path, you can smell it in the air. The meats are being like smoked or there's bread being made, and you're just like, you're going to eat well. You're going to be swollen from the salt, but it's worth it. It's worth
It
it.
And
is.
then, a lot of those foods, those places you're talking about from the countryside, those are the people that emigrated to America. So like a lot of these home recipes it's what I would
Right.
call peasant food, right? Like my mom makes
Mhm.
stuff like with every part of the body. Sometimes she's like, okay, this is peasant food, but like it came from the rural parts. Those are the people that emigrated. So
Right.
that's what's for dinner. Even if there's abundance in America or Canada, you're still eating this stuff because it tastes good, and it really just you're bringing these traditions with you. That's why a lot of people, and when we first started off, they would be like, "Oh, no widows wear black in Portugal," and it's like, "Oh, really? Well, guess what, bro? They sure as hell wear black in America and Canada, and
You
they
know
and
what?
they do it
They're
for
wearing
50
them out
years."
there too. Sometimes people just
But I'm
forget,
just saying that, right? Like some
yeah,
people say,
like,
like they'll
and,
say,
and
like no
that's
one
one
makes
thing,
wine.
right?
Like,
Like
dude, everyone
the
makes wine out here.
gatekeepers. There's always going to be
Oh yeah.
gatekeepers, right?
No.
Like that's not how it's done because I didn't
Yeah,
experience it, but it's like, but yeah, no,
yeah.
Derek's right about that. You get those comments for sure.
No, totally. You guys are the best. Really, honestly, I could talk to you all
This was
day.
awesome. We ate all those the bacalhau that you
Bowls.
made us.
Oh, you say pastel
Oh,
de
and
bacalhau?
by the way,
There's the
my
bacalhau, yeah.
mom had the called vid, and she was blown away. She was like, because
Oh,
she
that's a big
from the
stamp of
first
approval right
Okay.
sip,
there. That's a
she
big
was
stamp
like,
of approval.
"Wow!" She was like, "Is that boom?" She was like, and because you use a really good chorizo, it was very smoky, very, very,
Oh, I
very,
love
very
me a
good.
good smoked
We
chorizo.
killed it.
That's,
We killed that whole thing. So thank you for that.
oh,
Nothing
no
like
problem.
leaving with a
I
nice
always
little
look.
goodie
Listen, you
bag.
make people happy by filling their bellies. Okay.
It was the
That's
most
facts.
Portuguese goodbye we could have. Like, all right, we're
We
done filming. She's like, hold on, before you go, your husband's
Yeah,
pulling out all this Tupperware from under the
and clothes
counter,
too. Hoodies. I wore the
clothes,
hoodie already. I love it.
hoodies.
All right. We'll
We
see. I
ate
knew
that.
we'd
That
be
was
best
delicious.
friends,
Oh, it was fantastic. Fantastic.
but I can't wait to see you guys live. And I'm bringing my mom.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I'm
Brian,
so
Can't
we're gonna
wait.
do a
excited.
Jersey Shore sketch, I think, with Brian's character Joey Souza.
I'm very sure you could do it.
Oh my
Um,
God.
before we
Wait,
go,
so I
can you
have
guys?
to can I
Okay.
ask you something?
Yeah.
Do you like Marcella? Do you like Marcella?
Not one of my
Blood
favorite. You know
sausage?
the one, the fettuccine, the one that has the like the wheat in it, the sausage. It's ferigeiro,
Um,
ferigeiro,
Oh yeah, farinera, farinera.
fettuccine. Yeah.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's my favorite.
Farinera and
I
agate.
cut it on the grill, and I love when that crusts over. Like that's my
Oh,
favorite.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing.
yeah, we like that.
I like the blood sausage more in like the cozida when it's cooked fully.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
We're
I love
I'm big on
cozida.
having it fried with a pineapple. Good to go.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never
That's
had
Nice
that.
little
Azorian style. That's Azorian
an
style right
Azorian
there.
style. Fried,
Nicolens.
you fry
Nicolens.
it with a pineapple, let me tell you, it goes hand in hand.
You should
I
deep
mean,
fry
you could
everything.
see the salty sweet. You could see that
Yeah,
balance, 100.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
it's
Amazing.
delicious. My doctor hates it, but I love it.
When you when you guys come, maybe we'll get a bite to eat this time.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
no problem.
There we go. That's a great idea.
We'll fight you for the bill.
Okay, I'll
Not
let you
me.
take
Not me. I'll let you guys fight.
it. Where can you tell my audience and people to follow you, get tickets for you guys, and see your
All
stuff?
there. PortugueseKids.com. It's all there. That's the hub. Links to
Okay.
Yep.
everything, shows, merch, quackish, everything.
Wow,
Announcements,
a
the whole
good
nine
pair of
yards.
cuecas.
A good pair of quackers.
Gotta
You
have
never
a
leave
good
home without it. You never know if the doctor's going to check
fresh
your coup.
quackish. Never know.
When I was little, speedos, the people, like the Portuguese people, come over and the men would be in their cuecas, and I would say to my mom, "Ma, why is he walking around in his cuecas?" And she's like, "No, it's a bathing suit."
Yeah, it's totally
Thank
different in
God
Europe.
that's not in anymore for
Mm.
Portuguese men, because that's just a horrible sight. I just can't imagine me
Especially
in
with
a
a bare
speedo.
belly
Big
over it.
belly, big
Oh, yeah,
belly.
exactly. They wear
What a
it well,
sight.
though. They
Oh
wear it
Lord.
well.
All right, guys, I really appreciate your time.
No, thanks for
Pleasure is
having us. This
ours.
was so much
Thank you
fun.
so much.
Thanks for tuning in from Portugal with Love. I'm your host, Lauren Covis. This episode was produced by Curious Monkey Entertainment. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and you can follow me on social media at Chef Lauren Covis. Until next time, always remember, savor the moment.